Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and I am joined by my very special visitors, Stacy, Shoshin, Hayden, and Abby the Gardener. Today we are coming to you from the North Carolina Museum of Art. We are going to walk the art park. Specifically, we're here to see the sunflower field because I'm actually teaching a class here in a couple of weeks, and I need to see how the garden looks so that I can start crafting the information that I'm going to share. So let's go on a tour together, everybody. Are you excited?
Yes.
And maybe we're going to be in between rainstorms.
They're so soft.
They are. This is Pennisetum. I think this might be Carly Rose because you see the flowers are sort of pink. And it's an outstanding array of different ornamental grasses, and it's all primarily natives. So, you know, we've got Baptisia up there, which is the false indigo. Over here we have a huge bank of Amsonia, and then, you know, sycamore trees and oaks. And it's just I think it's a really cool landscape in that it gives you a bit of a sense of place. Which isn't something that landscapes always achieve. These are plants that are actually native to this part of North Carolina. So this little bed here is like a teaser for the big field, but what I really like about the display here at the Art Museum is that it's not a monoculture like what we saw at Dorothea Dix last week. You've got a bunch of different plants, including zinnias, and I see cosmos, they're just not flowering yet. So this looks really awesome. Have it roped off so people don't walk in it. All right, so I think this actually is gonna be really awesome in August. So you see, none of the cosmos are even blooming yet. They're just in bud. And the zinnias are still really short. And I love that there's so much common milkweed in here that is here to benefit monarchs. And I am surprised to see so many sunflowers already blooming. So, you know, the timing for these sorts of displays is tricky because the sunflowers are really specific, and many varieties, particularly these short, small flowered varieties, are like 70 days from sowing. So the day you sow it, you count out 70 days. That's going to be your peak time for flowering. So if you're doing this with the intention of like hosting a party or having a wedding, or, you know, you really have to be super strategic in your seeding dates. So I kind of wonder how many sunflowers will actually be blooming by the middle of August. It'll be really interesting to see. I need to get up with someone on their grounds maintenance team to learn more about what they sowed and when they sowed. I'd say the biggest problem I see is that there is a lot of grass that shouldn't be growing in this bed. It should be better ground plane coverage with intentional flowers. So, you know, with every class, especially in an installation that I didn't do, there's always good and bad lessons to learn. And yeah, I think there's a lot of lessons to learn from this year's display in contrast to years past. So I have to do my due diligence, and in the next couple of weeks I've got to figure out what they sowed, when they did it, what kind of bed prep they did, because there's way more weeds growing than intentional plants. And that's not the goal of an installation like this. It is great to see yellow finches, and I'm coming up to stalk a butterfly right here. And unlike the sunflower field that we went to last week, it was just sunflowers, you really get a lot more pollinator activity because of the diversity of flowers here. So, you know, this is a really nice little pocket of sunflowers, zinnias, and cosmos that are just starting to flower. And long term, that'll be what makes this interesting, you know, for the rest of the summer season. Because again, the sunflowers don't really bloom for that long. They're special in that they are very ephemeral. But the cosmos and zinnias will flower really until we have frost. And that provides a lot of nectar for beneficial pollinators. So this section really doesn't look like much. Gosh, yeah, I definitely am gonna have to find out what happened, because this is not what it usually looks like. And of course, this is the year that I'm teaching a class on it. Live from the field, not with a PowerPoint. Well, there's no question, no 2 years are ever the same in gardening. I'm going to be really interested to talk to the ground staff here to figure out why there's so much like grass and so few wildflowers in this installation, whether this is intentional or like this is part of their rotation. You know, I have some suggestions and ideas for what they could do with this property in different times of the year, especially doing a cool season installation with larkspur or poppies. I think buckwheat would be a really good addition to this summer, and it would have helped suppress a lot of this sort of grass that's established itself. So it'll be a great learning experience for me and for anybody who attends the class. And yeah, that's how you have to look at it. Here are some photos of what this installation looked like in past years, so you'll understand my shock of seeing it in this light. So we're rounding up here where the new art museum building is, and I happen to love this silver tree planted with the Aragrostis. And I think it's, Stacy, you mentioned this, the juxtaposition between the mown turf and the native grass beds is really, it's striking. You know, this is a monoculture planting. It's not diversified, but it reads as very purposeful and it's peaceful. And that's the goal of this campus, you know. And I'm really happy for my friends at Hoffman Nursery who supplied like 20 million plugs of grass from their inventory. It allowed them to do some really amazing nursery expansion. footage here. Really cool plantings in the fall when that muley grass is in bloom. It's like the most spectacular sight ever. Really shows what ornamental grasses can do. There's so much movement and they're low maintenance. They don't need to be irrigated. This landscape really adds a lot to the art museum's aesthetic. Well, we were just saying there should be a rainbow because it's starting to rain, but the sun is out. We are on our way back to the car. It's really hard to do garden tours right now, the last week of July. We had another 2 inches of rain last night. I'm not complaining, just stating that it's really hard to go outside at this time of year. Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this quick tour of the North Carolina Museum of Art's Art Park grounds. We are ending here at one of my favorite installations, the Labyrinth of Mirrors. I don't know if you can actually see where anybody is at this moment, but we are wishing you all the very best. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Take care.